You will have seen the emails that have gone out recently and everything on the Facebook group about Pirkx, who we have joined with to bring you some amazing benefits. It really is just such a fantastic opportunity, and I think in the VA industry, just to have that support within wellbeing is just so crucial. It can be a lonely profession, and there can be challenges out there that mean that we need to access support, and this just makes it so much easier. So I'm going to hand you over to Ben, who is from Pirkx, and he's just going to tell you all about it, how you can access it, what you need to do, and just everything that I can't tell you. So so thank you for joining us, Ben, and I shall pass over to you.
Pleasure, thank you. And hello everybody, nice to see lots of people on the call. Yeah, I think just to set the scene as well and to give you a bit of background, I think it's useful to sort of explain why we originally built Pirkx, because it really was designed to support people like yourselves. We set it up 4 years ago because we realized or recognized that people that were self-employed and or businesses that employed small numbers of people were not really being very well catered for when it came to accessing employee benefits or well-being benefits. So things that can help support your physical health, your mental health, and your financial health. And so we set about trying to do something about that in launching Pirkx, which is, as you'll have seen, hopefully, for those of you that are on the call, if you're joining because you want to understand a little bit more, or if you're joining because you've signed up and you want to understand how to get the best out of it, I'm sure there's going to be a mix of people on the call. But hopefully what you will have seen from the email is it's really simple and it's really straightforward. So I guess as a starting point in terms of housekeeping, if you haven't received the email, perhaps let Gwen or myself know after this call, or if you're watching the recording, let us know by dropping us an email, because we can make sure that we reissue the invitations. For those of you that have received it, hopefully you've chosen to sign up. But if you haven't, after you've seen what we've got in it, hopefully today will give you kind of some peace of mind that there is value in signing up and getting access to the platform. There's about 40 odd different benefits that you get for the subscription. I'm not going to propose to go through all 40 of them today, because I appreciate that might be a little tiresome for everybody. But what I thought I'd do is just share my screen in a second, log into my own account, which will look different to the version that you guys have got access to, but only in terms of the branding. Otherwise, it's pretty much exactly the same. And then just pick out 4 or 5 of the, I guess, key benefits that we really see people using and interacting with on a kind of fairly regular basis. As I say, there's about 40 odd different ones in there. So if there is anything that I don't cover that you do want to understand a little bit more about, feel free to shout in the chat, ask a question at the end. Don't ask a question as we go. We can keep it on getting feedback now. Thank you. It was quite disconcerting hearing my own voice through my headphones. So yeah, I think that's kind of hopefully sets the scene. As I say, fire in with any questions as we go, or we'll open it up for a Q&A at the end if people want to ask questions. But let me just, and Gwen, maybe because I'm only working on one screen, so I won't be able to see the chat. If people are asking questions as I'm going through it, maybe you could just unmute and shout out.
Okay.
Brilliant. Thank you. Okay, so let me just share my screen. Is that coming through okay? Can you see that?
Yep, that looks good.
Excellent. Good stuff. So this is, as I say, this is my account, so it's got our Pirkx branding and our colours and stuff, and the version that you'll be seeing if you've logged in and had a look will look slightly different, but as I say, principally everything that's in there is the same. I should also point out that everything, I'm obviously logging in on the desktop, but it's all app-based as well as desktop-based. So after this, please do go onto Google Play or the App Store and search for Pirkx, download the app, and you can just use your login credentials that you've created to access everything via the app as well. You don't have to necessarily just access it on the desktop. But if I just jump into the main kind of bulk of benefits, and as I say, pick out some of the key ones, what you'll see, we talk about, you can create favorites at the top. So customizing your own version of Pirkx for yourself, so you've got the things that you interact with most at the top. What we've got are, we broke it down with well-being is a bit of a, I guess, a wishy-washy term. It means different things to different people. You know, drinking a glass of water is well-being to one person, running a marathon is well-being to somebody else. So how do you deliver a service and a range of benefits that talks to an individual's well-being. And the way we broke that down is by taking it back to the dictionary definition, which is the state of being happy, healthy, and comfortable, and then looking at that in 5 channels. So as I say, we've got health, and in here we've got these different programs, which I'll touch on in a second. We've got wealth, which is looking at your financial well-being. We've got education, so this is looking at personal and professional development. So there's things like free courses with the Open University. We've got online first aid courses. We've got discounts with people like Study Academy and Udemy. The wealth channel is, as I say, looking at your financial well-being. So there's things like access to free credit reports. We've got a free lottery. I'd urge everybody to sign up to that. It's £1,000 a month. Jackpot rolls over every month for 3 months if there hasn't been a winner, up to a maximum of £3,000. So a bit of fun. I think the bit in here that we really see people interacting with and using quite frequently and getting significant value straight away from Pirkx is through the portal. So this is where you've got access to cashback offers at over 2,500 different retailers, and it's everything from all of the major high street retail chains, restaurant chains, online retail stores, as well as all of the major supermarkets. It's all cashback driven, so money that you spend at one of the stores through Pirkx, the percentage of cashback generated drops into your Pirkx wallet here. It's really easy to withdraw the money once it's accrued, so you can just click transfer cashback, pop in the bank account details that you want to transfer the money out to, and the money will be transferred into that bank account. Just a point to note, there is a £1 processing fee, and you do need a minimum of £5 in there before you can transfer it out. So what we always suggest to people is let it build up over 3 months, 6 months, 12 months, whatever it might be. Let it build up to a meaningful amount, and then pull that cash back out. The way you generate cash back is, if I just go back to the kind of homepage of the portal. So you can either search by discount categories or the search functionality up here, which is pretty dynamic. So let's say, for example, you were shopping at Sainsbury's and you wanted to generate cash back through Sainsbury's. There are 3 ways you generate cash back in Pirkx. One is by ordering a physical card for a specific retailer. So I'm using Sainsbury's as the example. Let's say that's where you did your food shopping every week. So you'd order a physical card. It would be delivered to your door. You'd then load that card up with, I don't know, let's say every week you do £100 of food shopping at Sainsbury's. You'd load that card up with £100. You can set that to be taken as a direct debit moving forward. So you don't have to keep adding money to the topping the card up every week. But as soon as you put the £100 on there, the percentage of cashback, so in this case it would be £4, would drop into that digital wallet that I just showed you. So that's one way. The second way is using digital vouchers. So you can go in and you can buy vouchers. And again, as soon as you buy the voucher, the percentage of cash back will drop into your digital wallet, and then you would just present the voucher, it'll either be a barcode or QR code. And you present that at the checkout. And I probably should say as well, with the card, you just use that instead of your credit or debit card in store. It can also be, the cards can also be used in conjunction with store cards as well. So in this case, it would be Nectar points. And then the third way, so there are 3 ways you can do it. 1 is a physical card, 2 is a digital voucher, and 3 is by shopping online. So if I use, I think I did it with, I bought something yesterday on JD Sports. So JD Sports, for example, they've got 10% cash back online. So you click use this offer, it redirects you to, in this case, JD Sports website. You can type in whatever it is, the product that you're looking for, check out. You don't need to put any codes in. You don't need to go back into Pirkx and let Pirkx know that you've made any transactions. It just automatically tracks it. And you can see here, it should be, if I go back to my homepage in the Pirkx portal and click on cashback, it should, yeah, it's got £2.75 of cashback processing from the transaction I made yesterday. Didn't put any codes in, didn't need to do anything. I just clicked, as I've just done there, onto the JD Sports website, shopped, checked out, and that was it. So it's all simple and quite straightforward. In here, you've also got things like cinema tickets and other deals to look at as well. And then moving up into the health section, this is really looking at your physical and mental health. So if you are a Pirkx member now, or if you decide after this to become a Pirkx member, you get access to all of these benefits as well. So counselling service, which is unlimited telephone support, counselling support, 365 days a year for you and everybody in your household over the age of 16. It's unlimited issues that you can phone and speak to somebody about. You phone that number, you speak to a BACP accredited counsellor, and then you can receive up to 6 structured telephone sessions per issue that you've raised. There is also, if I just scroll down on this page, what it's worth highlighting, there is also the ability to upgrade to Pirkx Rise, which would cost an extra £1.50 a month, which you can just click here to pay for and add it onto your account. And what it's giving you is not just access to counselling services, but if you needed it, or if somebody in your household needed it, it also gives you access to psychologists and psychiatrist sessions. Again, it's the same applies, as many unlimited issues, and then 6 structured sessions per issue that you raise. With the Pirkx Rise, it's not just telephone sessions either, it's face-to-face, should you require it.
Just a quick question, going back to the cashback we've got.
Yes.
Can the cashback work with the Sainsbury's app?
It's a good question. I'm not sure. Is using the, because I'm not familiar with the Sainsbury's app. So is the Sainsbury's app a bit like using on Sainsbury's online, for example?
Yeah. You can just do your shops and what have you through that.
So different retailers can and do and don't allow you to use this online. So for example, with the reloadable card, it's in Sainsbury's case, that's not usable online, that's just usable in store. But if you were to buy a voucher, that would be usable online or in store. So if you bought a voucher, you could generate the cash back, and then I would assume that you'd put the voucher code into the, if the app is the same as the online store, then you would just put the code in in that way. And this key information is really useful actually for if you went into Tesco's, Waitrose, Asda, whoever the retailer is, if you just look at the key information, it will kind of give you the high level bits that you need to be aware of. Okay,
we've got a few other questions coming in, but if I wait until you've finished showing us around.
Are they to do with the cashback and retail?
No, they're to do with the counselling sessions.
Okay, fine. Well, why don't you fire them out now, and I'll answer them.
Okay, so we've got 2. We've got one from Rosemary, a question on the therapy sessions. So if we were to upgrade to the £1.50, the 6 sessions would effectively be free, i.e. no extra cost.
Correct.
Yeah, lovely. And with the counselling therapy, is there any excess to pay or any other hidden costs?
Nope, it's all included in your subscription. And then if you were to take, so the £4.50 a month is the Pirkx subscription cost, and for that you're getting access to everything that I'm showing you. The only additional thing to be aware of is if you did want to add or upgrade to Pirkx Rise, which gives you the psychologist and the psychiatrist sessions and face-to-face, not just telephone sessions, and that's an extra £1.50, but nothing else. You'll not be asked then to pay for a session once you speak to a psychologist or a psychiatrist or the counsellor. You get and it's unlimited issues. The only caveat, because this covers you and everybody in your household, the only caveat with the counselling is they have to be over the age of 16.
Right, that was another question that somebody was just saying, just confirming it's for the whole of the family over the age of 16. So yes, that's great.
Specifically with counselling, but I'm going to touch on the GP. I'm going to touch on the GP service in a second, and that isn't restricted by age. That's I used it for my 5-year-old yesterday. So it's just the counsellor. We're bound by certain rules that legislate that industry, which is what dictates that.
We've got a few more questions.
Sure.
I'll wait. Do you want me to wait, or are you okay to answer? They're coming in thick and fast.
Excellent. No, happy to answer them.
Okay. Are the face-to-face counselling sessions available in Scotland?
Yes, they are. But so I'm saying that very confidently. But let me just also confirm that back with you in writing. So I'll make a note of that and just double check and come back to you.
That's fine.
They are. I'm almost 100% sure, but let me just double check.
that's fine. Karen, if you drop me an email to the info@societyofvirtualassistants.co.uk email address, then I can then confirm that to you as well.
Okay,
and
thanks very
is there a list? No worries at all. Is there a list of counsellors, psychologists that you can use by location? Is another question.
You can specify location once you phone and you go through the process. They will understand where you are based, and therefore they will become, at that point, they will become location specific. But there's not the ability to sort of search through Pirkx for people that are in your area. You've got to sort of follow the process through and get, if that makes sense.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. Right.
No worries. No worries. So I guess just a couple of others to sort of touch on in here, and then I'll sort of, I guess, wrap it up for more questions if there are any. So discounted gyms, that's a really popular service. So we've got 3,500 different gyms on here throughout the UK. It's everything from local authority leisure centres right up to big national chains. This is postcode driven. So, and again, it's not just for you, but people in your household can take advantage of this as well. Well, the way it works, you just click search, you pop in, I don't know, Gwen, do you want to give me a postcode, or somebody shout out a postcode and I can pop it in and just it's an working example.
Here we go. CA8.
CA8.
81NG. The Cumbrian postcode. That'll challenge you.
Well, let's see what it does. But what it will do now is it will pull up a list of things in the geo. That's normally they're within less than a mile. So that is
this is Cumbria. Everything's never less within a mile.
A fairly remote postcode. But the point is, what it will do is, regardless of where your postcode is, you type that in. What it will then do is pull up a list of gyms that are in a geographical radius of that postcode, and then give you the different deals that are available at those gyms. And as I say, it's everything from local leisure centres right up to big national chains like Virgin and Nuffield.
Actually our local leisure centre. It may say 8 miles away, but it is our local leisure centre.
Right.
So.
Okay.
So yes, yeah.
And as I say, what you do is you would just simply get voucher, print it, take it in, and you'd be able to redeem whatever the deal is. Because you can see they all vary. They're not a kind of a standard discount across all the gyms. Every one of them is different. Mm-hmm. And then I think the last one that I'll touch on now, and then obviously I can go into anything more specifically if people need it, is the GP, because I think this is something that really resonates and is a really powerful part of our proposition. So as a Pirkx member, you'll now have access to unlimited GP appointments 24/7. As I said already, it's for you and everybody in your household, and there's no age restriction. The way you can phone the number and book an appointment, but the easiest way to do it is all through the app or through the desktop. So if I just click book appointment, I then choose whether I want a telephone call or a video call, whether I've got a preference of male or female doctor. You can see there are a couple of times this afternoon on today's day, but if I move through to tomorrow, you can see there's a whole range of different times available throughout the whole course of the day that would then obviously suit me in my diary to book an appointment, whether it's for me or my family member or household member. So I book the time that suits me, click next. I can either put my information in, or if it's for somebody else in my household, you can see I booked an appointment for my son yesterday, so his details are in there. But if it's for somebody else, I can add their information in. And the GP service can send prescriptions to you. They'll email the prescription to you, so you can go and collect them from the pharmacy. They can provide you with referrals for onward care if you need it. And as I say, it's unlimited appointments for you and everybody in your household throughout the course of the year. I don't think there's anything else to say on the GP appointments. Normally there's a couple of questions around that, so if anybody's jumped in, happy to answer that now. But I think those were the key things I wanted to. Maybe what I'll do is stop sharing my screen so I can actually see people's faces. Those were the key things I wanted to just highlight. I think it's a case of, for those of you that are on the call that have signed up and have got access to it, it's a case of just having a bit of a play around, looking around, seeing what stuff's in there, maybe things that I haven't covered that are interesting for you that you want to explore. If there is or are things in there that I haven't touched on that you do want to ask about, feel free to email me or Gwen, fire them into you, and you can email me. Either way, I'm happy. But that's what I would urge you to do. It's really just about using it and playing around with it and taking advantage of what's in there. But happy to, I think one question just came in, so happy to kind of open it up and
yeah, we've got a couple that have come in. The going in the order they came in, again with gyms, that would cover Scotland as well, would it?
Yeah, it does.
Yep.
Yeah.
Lovely. Somebody's asked, what are the eye care discounts, please?
So with the eye care, if you go in, it's free eye tests if you spend a minimum amount within Optical Express. I think it's Optical Express. So you can go in and then but you also get discounts on eyewear and you get discounts on lenses and other. If you go into that particular one, you'll see there's a range of things, but effectively it's a free eye test if you spend a certain amount thereafter on lenses or glasses.
Great. My kids are away at uni. Yep, mine are too. Are they still covered? It's a difficult one, isn't it?
Because it's being recorded. So it's well, they are technically still part of your household, aren't they?
Yeah. I mean, my daughter's back at the moment because she's only kind of living temporarily at uni. So yeah. No,
they're still part of your household.
Okay, lovely. GP appointments, all qualified GPs, I guess. Hope so.
One would hope so.
Prescriptions, yes. I guess we would pay for the prescriptions as per usual, right?
Correct. Yeah, they're private prescriptions, not NHS. So that yes, they are all qualified GPs. They're all NHS qualified, all NHS working GPs. So all qualified. But they're not NHS prescriptions. So you would pay for their private prescriptions. So you would pay for them. Yeah.
Yeah, that's fine. Oh, they're moving as I'm reading them. Can you join on standard price and upgrade to Pirkx Rise at a later date if required?
Yep, no problem at all. Very easy to do that. You sign up as normal, and then should at any point in the future you feel that you need or somebody in your household needs that service, you can just log into that, scroll down to that section, click pay, and it'll be added on straight away. And it's instant cover as well.
Fantastic. Oh, this is a good one. Are there any restrictions for long-term medical conditions?
Not restrictions per se, but if the GP that you book the consultation with feels that you do need to revert back to your household GP, then they will make that recommendation on the call or on the consultation.
Lovely, that's good to know.
Please, can I just come back on that question, because I know it's quite a broad question. Obviously, long-term medical conditions. It is for myself, and I have MS. So looking at the physiotherapy that I saw on there that can be virtual.
Yeah.
Again, would that be offered to somebody like myself who suffers from MS?
So let me answer that a slightly different way, and explain how the virtual physiotherapy works, because it is available to everybody, so it isn't restricted. But the way it works is you would download it's a supplier that we work with called Track Active Me, which you get free access to as a Pirkx member. So you would download the Track Active Me app, and what it does is it asks you then a fairly detailed series of diagnostic questions based on a particular ailment that you might be having. So I used it myself about a year ago because I had a pain in my left knee, the lower part of my left knee, and I think it was because I'd been running, and that was what the injury was. So it wasn't a particularly bad injury, but it was a niggle that I knew needed a bit of physiotherapy. So I went onto the app, I identified the part of my body that I wanted to ask it about. It then provided me with, as I said, a detailed list of questions, diagnostic questions, and then provided me with a diagnosis and some programs or rehab things that I could do at home to help rehabilitate that particular ailment. So you wouldn't be restricted from using it, but I would suggest it would be at your own discretion to use it, really.
Okay, so do they offer like sessions virtually?
No, it's
they just
so you're not on a virtual session with a physiotherapist. It's understanding through the questions what your ailment is, providing you with a diagnosis online, and then saying, and if that is what you think it is, here is some things that you can do at home to help rehabilitate that injury.
Okay, thank you.
Brilliant. Okay, Right, Karen has another question about Scotland. Thanks, Karen. So she says, sorry about all my questions re Scotland.
No
How
worries.
do the prescriptions work, as we don't pay for prescriptions in Scotland? Oh, you're so lucky.
Yeah, I know. And we've had that question a few times. So the prescriptions would still need to be paid for. They are
They're private ones,
they're
aren't
private
they?
prescriptions,
Right.
yeah.
Okay.
Sorry, Karen.
Can I just interject
No, that's
on
fine, thank
yeah.
you.
Sorry, can I just interject on prescriptions, just as a word of warning to people? I had a private prescription recently and it cost me about 30 quid, even though I'm medically exempt. My other half had a private prescription recently and it cost him 2 quid. So I think it very much depends on the value of the medication.
It does.
So yeah, it's not going to be your standard 9 quid or whatever.
Typically they are around £9.99 typically, but you're right. I'm sorry, I don't know where that comment came from, but you're right. They will vary depending on what the medication is.
Yeah. Okay, right. Does the content of the GP call feed back to your medical records? So will it go back to your local GP?
No, so it is separate. You can request that they contact and send your records back to your GP, but it is a standalone GP appointment. So, and I think it's important here to kind of note this isn't. It is by no means designed or built to replace your household GP. You know, that there is a relationship built over time with your GP about particular ailments and issues that may be long-standing that you need to continue to see them about. This is really for, those. I mean, the example I'm using it because it happened yesterday. We got back from a trip on Monday, and my son's ear, he had something happen. He had pussy ear, and so that was we weren't able to get in to see a doctor for a couple of weeks. So we phoned the GP. We sent them the Pirkx GP. We sent them a picture pre the appointment, and he's prescribed some antibiotic spray that will hopefully resolve that particular issue. So it's for things like that it's useful for.
Yeah, that's great. Okay. What kind of discount for private medical insurance, and is there a preferred partner, Vitality, for example?
Okay, so what that is, the tile that you're referring to there was our health cash plans. So it's not a private medical insurance policy, but it is a health cash plan. So, and it's provided by a company called BHSF. Typically how health cash plans work is, if you're a big business, they give big businesses discounted rates on a per person basis to access the health cash plan. And what we've effectively done is gone to our provider, BHSF, and say, give us that pricing on a kind of mass scale, but let us pass that on to people at an individual level. So what you're able to do is effectively get access to a health cash plan for about £5 a month. The way a health cash plan works is there's different levels of cover: bronze, silver, gold, I think platinum. And depending on the premium that you take, you will get different levels of cover for different things. So for example, dental is £50 on the basic level. So you would go to if let's say an appointment with your dentist costs you 50 quid, you'd pay the 50 quid and you've got 50 quid's worth of cover that you can claim back as cash back in the health cash plan. And then you have things like dental trauma, which is £200. So, but if you click on that tile and click on the health cash plan, and you can click on more information, it will give you the different, there's things in there for physiotherapy and other therapies as well. So but it's not a private medical insurance policy.
Okay, lovely. Right. Yes, a prescription for 110. Yeah, I think it's it's a difficult one, isn't it? Because it depends what you prescribed and the worth of that prescription. My daughter has the same service through her employer, and it's got her out of a few holes recently. So I guess it depends on whether you want to wait for your surgery to see you and write you up a prescription, or see someone instantly. But it's yeah.
And I think to add to that, I think and I may be talking out of turn here, but I suspect for those kind of much more expensive prescriptions, you're right, it would be for something that actually probably needs that level of support and service from your kind of your household GP.
Yeah. Yeah, okay, great. I think that's all the questions for now, if everybody's happy with that. I mean, I'm just over the moon about it, really. I'm really chuffed to bits with the benefits that we can access from this, because, you know, as self-employed people, this is not something we've ever had a chance to access at all, and it's, yeah, really helpful. So thank you for taking the time to explain it to us and to answer our many questions.
Not at all.
And like Ben says, if you have any questions at all, just drop me an email, put it in the Facebook group, and we can get back to you with an answer on that. And we'll pop a recording of this in the Facebook group as well, so then those who missed it can see it.
And also, Gwen, if it's useful, I think maybe we do another one of these in 2 or 3 weeks' time, or a couple of weeks' time, and others can join. Happy to do that.
Absolutely, that sounds
awesome.
Good. Great. Okay, lovely stuff.
Thanks, everybody.
I think that's everything. So thank you for joining us. Thank you, Ben, for giving us your time today, and enjoy.
Thanks, everybody. Bye bye.
Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.
Thank you.